Alright, so in my opinion, for 2018, Pip's best offensive class, I've gone over a defensive class, which has to do with the Mega Potion Legendary, but this is really going to more to do with a Catalyst Legendary build. So in my previous build, for the Mega Potion build, which is more team oriented, it really revolves around um, these three last cards: Reload, Shrewd Move. You're always going to see these three in my Pip loadout, always. But they're reduced in this loadout because I have them usually set to three, both of them, but that's only for a well-rounded, you know, Pip build. With this one, it's not well-rounded at all. This is a one-trick pony. You're going straight ahead, you know, 1v1 all day. This is basically just offensive, you know, just nothing but offensive plays. Flank pit, the usual. So the first two fives I have are for Acumen and Moxie. And I'll explain Acumen, of course. So I'm gonna start off by explaining this one by its at its weakest to its best, and from in my opinion, its best is gonna be, you know, why this build is useful. But at its weakest, 50%, you know, of your damage with Flask is really gonna give you only 300 each shot. And remember, when you hit him with the Flask, you basically get two shots, and you got to make them count. Otherwise, you're not gonna get the double healing. This will give you two, you know, you would think it's only one dose of healing. You know, you get your Flask off, and then you get the 50% lifesteal for one shot. No, if you can land two of them within the time limit of 1.5 seconds. So, and that's pretty much the max you can land is two shots. So by default, 50%, 300. You land the two shots, 600. You get 600 back. That's not good enough. So what I do to make this better is with the in-game lifesteal that you can buy with the in-game credits. You know, you got the lifesteal tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Don't invest in the 2 and the 3. Get lifesteal 1. Don't get lifesteal 2, don't get lifesteal 3. Those are a waste, in my opinion. You can invest those in cauterize and other things. I only invest 1 point, you know, and it goes from 300 to 600 to 900. 600, 900 credits, that's too much. 300, that's easy, that's adjustable. So whenever you're going to start a game, you have this build immediately. Don't go for nothing else. Go immediately for lifesteal number 1. Get that out of the way. It helps a lot. So let's talk about the stats. So if you get it to 60, you get the lifesteal number 1. You got Acumen maxed out at 5. Now you got 60. Well, you're going to get, and this is without the catalyst. These stats right here are without the catalyst build, just by default. The catalyst legendary, I'm referring to the 40% damage increase. This is without the 40% damage increase. So if you have it at 60% lifesteal, you're going to get back 360 each shot. That's about a good, what, 7 to 800? Still not good enough. If you increase that above, which I don't recommend, I recommend having a lifesteal number 1. If you increase it to lifesteal number 2, which is to 70% lifesteal, if you get greedy, it will give you 420 health back each shot if you can land the shots within the 1.5 seconds duration of the Flask. The 420 is okay, but now let's factor in the Catalyst Legendary, that 40% damage increase for the Flask. So we factor in that 40% damage increase after you hit the Flask, combined with the lifesteal Acumen of 50%, combined with the lifesteal tier 1, which gives you 10% lifesteal on all of your weapon shots. Okay. Now well, first let's do the 50%. I skipped ahead to the 60, but let's start with the 50. So with the legendary, if you just do a 50 lifesteal, you're gonna get 50% back of 840 because of the new damage is now 840 damage. You're basically Eevee. So now 50% of 840, 420. So now, and that's the worst. So at 50%, the worst is basically the best without Catalyst. So that's why you gotta have Catalyst. So now you combine all of those stats to the 60%, you increase it to 60 with the in-game lifesteal tier number 1. So now 60% of 840 becomes 504. So now if you can land both those 2 shots after you hit them with the flask, you get 2 shots. If you can land them in the time, you get 500 back each shot. That's basically another healing potion. So now just keep that in mind. That's a huge, huge, huge thing to have 2 healing potions in your pocket. Now, of course, you have to be a good shot. If you don't land those 2 shots within the 1.5 seconds of the flask, you're not going to get back the 1,000 points. Now, it says 500, but in my experience, I've gotten 600 each shot. I'll upload a video after this video that will show it, that if you increase the lifesteal to 60, you know, you got the argument card here with 50, but the in-game, once you get in-game and you buy the lifesteal number 1 and you increase it to 60, plus the catalyst build increases your damage to 840 each shot. So 60% of 840, 504. But don't believe that. That's not right. When you get in game, it becomes 600 plus. Okay, so basically it's 1,000, 1,200, and this is uncauterized. I've been 1v1s. They've had cauterized 3. This doesn't affect it. So this lifesteal that comes back to you is, if they have cauterized 3, it doesn't affect you at all. This is why this is a beautiful thing. So so now we get to the next card, Moxie. Now Moxie, in my opinion, is, you would think Akumen, after all those stats, is the 1v1 king of Pip's cards, but no, Moxie is. In my opinion, Moxie is the king of all these cards. For 1v1ings. I'll explain. The major reason is, well, let me get this one out of the way, because I made this video before and I forgot it. So let me make this. This may not play a factor, and it may, because I haven't seen it in practice yet. But there's a possibility that when you're below 50%, and because this card, when you receive 50% increased healing below 50, it may or may not affect the lifesteal. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it, but keep that in mind. If you look into it and check it out, cool. It may not, because that's a lot of lifesteal back. But keep that in mind. So, anyways, but one of the main reasons Moxie is so great. Let's say, you're in game, you're already in the mix. Most players, they get that cauterized 3, the 60% reduced healing. No, not cauterized 3, cauterized 2, to get that 60% reduced healing, and then they just maintain that. From my experience, that's what I do. And I feel, the good players, they get that 60%, and then they invest in other things. And then once it gets 33, the end game, now it's time when we have those points to invest. So in my experience, I usually find players with the cauterized 2, and Moxie at its max, number 5, basically negates all of that. When you're below 50% reduced healing, which is the usual time you throw your potion down, to heal yourself, in all your 1v1s, you never heal yourself above 50%, never. And once you get below it, should they have cauterized 2, 60% reduced healing, this negates that to 10%. So basically their cauterized means nothing. If they increase that to cauterized 3, it still means nothing. Why? Because you still have Akumen, an uncauterized healing potion through lifesteal. It's not a healing potion. It's just basically a healing potion through lifesteal, as I explained before. So you basically have 2 effective ways to heal yourself in 1v1 situations. These 2 plus the cauterized legendary are just gonna make you, just wash people. I'll upload the video of some examples. It's pretty cool. I like this build. If you attempt to reduce these, in my opinion, it takes away from the effectiveness. You'll use this build, and you maybe remove run, and you may change these colors to something else. But I feel that just takes away from the impact. You gotta have it maxed out. You gotta have the maximum effect. And believe me, you're gonna feel it. Go into a training game, get this and go into a training game and you'll feel when you go up against the damage dealers, the supports, and even the Torvalds. They're nothing. They're nothing. They can't do anything to you. And when they close that distance on you with this flask, and always remember the process. You want to hit them with the flask when your health goes low. You want to hit them with that flask to get that lifesteal back, and then you want to use your potion. You don't want to use the potion first and then your flask. You know, it's one of those things I can't explain. In my experience, I always let them shoot my health down. You know, I drain my default ammo, you know, my default weapon. I shoot that off, let them drain my health down below 50, and then I shoot my catalyst, my flask. And with that flask, I get 2 shots with 60% life steal off of 840 damage, which is 504. But remember, it's not 504, it's more than that. It's about 600 plus in my experience. So if you can land those 2 shots while they're slowed by the flask, you get 600 plus back, which is basically a healing potion. Now you're back to full health. They take your health back low again. Now you can use your potion. Remember that process, that pattern. Don't evade that. Keep that process in your mind, and you're gonna win every engagement as long as you know how to back up. Don't be one of these dummies who run in and die and then they just repeat. No, you run in, you get beat, you get bested, and now you retreat. Stay alive. So that's what Weightless is for. These other 3 cards, these are just my favorite. These 3 are just my favorite. I feel Reload has the most impact. If you look at all these cards, I feel it has the most impact. If you want to argue, Escape Artist is very effective, but that's really at the high levels. I mean at the high professional levels, the players who don't miss. This is really valuable, but for the most of us, at the golds, the plats, this isn't really that, you know, as effective as a Reload. Or even some of these cards, you know, I have these at 1s, and you would say, well, I might as well have one of these then. I don't think these at 1s are that effective. This one maybe, but even then, you do so much damage. You don't really need, you know, even at this max, you don't even need 5. You don't need 2. You don't need 1. You do so much damage with this build, and you get back so much health. These explosive flash cards become useless. And same with these ones, besides Moxie and Shrewd Move. So that's my opinion. I'll upload a video showing some gameplay, hopefully. But that's what this build really revolves around. Lifesteal and Moxie and Catalyst Legendary. If you don't have those 3 maxed out, you know, hey, I can't help you. That's not my build. My build is you gotta have these maxed out. Don't have this at Smithereens. Have this at Shrewd Move. Okay, so this is my build right here. Not that bullshit. This right here is my build. Do it. If you want to take this down, go ahead, increase this. Go ahead, whatever. But these Moxie and Acumen are not adjustable. Keep those the way they are. Try it out, and then see if you like it.